In a few previous videos, I built a gaming PC using only AMD parts with a budget of just $36. And let's be honest, the parts were terrible. A sketchy power supply that felt like a fire hazard, a case that looked like literal trash, and a GPU so bad it could barely launch a game. But today, things are different. I prepared some much stronger hardware from around 2013 to take this build to the next level. And yes, I'm setting a completely unreasonable goal. The challenge is simple. Can I push this PC to hit 1000 FPS? It sounds insane. It probably is, but there's only one way to find out. Let's get started. To make this challenge actually doable, I have to admit, I needed to upgrade the hardware a bit. The first thing I decided to swap out was the CPU. Originally, I was running an A8 5600K, a quad-core chip with fairly limited clock speeds, topping out at around 3.9 GHz. So I prepared something a little stronger. Not the absolute best you can get on this socket, but definitely a step up. This is the A10 6700, which I picked up for just $17. Performance-wise, it's only really behind the K-series CPU from the same lineup. On top of that, the A10 6700 is built on a newer generation, Richland, while the A8 5600K belongs to the older Trinity generation. The newer architecture means it's more power efficient, and it also comes with a stronger APU. That said, I'm not too worried about the iGPU here, because in a moment, I'll be pairing this system with a pretty powerful GPU, at least for 2013 standards. Next up is RAM. The system originally only had 4 GB, so I upgraded it to a much more comfortable 16 GB. After that comes the GPU, and this is where things start getting interesting. I went with an R9 which I picked up for $50. And the reason I'm calling this card powerful is because back when it launched, it could handle games at 1440p and even 4K at medium settings, which was honestly pretty insane at the time, even though it only came with 3 GB of VRAM. Of course, this card has a fatal weakness. The heatsink inside has oxidized over time, and the R9 is also notorious for operating at temperatures above 70 degrees Celsius, as AMD's totally normal default behavior. On top of that, it needs two 8-pin power connectors, which means this card can pull anywhere from 250 to almost 290 watts. So yeah, there's no way I'm trusting my original power supply with this thing. I really don't want to sacrifice the GPU in the name of science. I'll need a much more reliable PSU with real stable wattage to make the build look a bit nicer and maybe help thermals just a little. I'm also throwing in a dual heat pipe air cooler. And finally, I decided to give this system a small visual upgrade with a new case, which I bought for $40. No, it won't give me more FPS, but it will give me more motivation to actually sit down and work on this thing. All right, let's get everything installed and get ready for this brutal challenge. I decided to use Minecraft as the main challenge. When I first loaded into the game, the FPS was honestly painful, basically single digits. But once the world finished loading, the frame rate climbed up to around 30 to 40 frames per second. From there, I started optimizing step by step, doing everything I possibly could to squeeze out the highest frames per second. First move, I dropped the resolution down to 720p. That pushed the FPS up to about 60, which is better, but compared to my goal of 1000 FPS, that's still not even close. Next, I lowered the render distance to the absolute minimum, and honestly, this was the biggest gain so far. That alone gave me over 200 extra frames per second. So at this point, I've completed roughly 30% of the challenge. My next plan was simple: learn from people who already succeeded. I found a really interesting trick in a video by Guini. He mentioned that all the debug and stat overlays on screen can actually hurt performance. In his case, switching to Fraps for FPS monitoring gave him an extra 200 to 300 FPS. So, of course, I immediately downloaded it. But, yeah, my results were nothing like his. I only gained a few extra frames, which honestly made me question everything. Did I mess up somewhere? Or is my setup just built different? In a bad way? Let me know what you think. Of course, I wasn't about to stop there. I kept going and started disabling every unnecessary effect that could possibly get in the way of my FPS. And at that point, things finally started to look promising. I managed to push past 350 frames per second. After that, I went one step further and optimized the operating system itself, using an open source tool based on PowerShell. The goal wasn't anything crazy, just to make the system feel lighter and more responsive, and surprisingly that alone gave me an extra 40 frames per second. So now I could actually enjoy the game on a 360Hz monitor in a way that finally made sense. But this still wasn't my end goal. If I wanted to really complete this challenge, it was clear that I still had a lot more work to do. And I didn't stop there. I managed to find a few more small but useful tricks. This time, I tried an optimization tool that I borrowed from Notre Dame. Using it was actually super simple. As you can see, it's basically just a bunch of on and off toggles. So I enabled everything that I thought would actually help me and left the rest alone. And just like that, my FPS jumped up to around 450. Honestly, this one was 100% worth it. Then I realized something important. I was running a fairly new version of Minecraft, 1.21.1, which comes with more features, more systems, and yeah, more things that hurt FPS. After comparing different versions, I found that Minecraft 1.8.9 is still extremely well optimized. And once I switched to that version, my FPS finally broke past 600 frames per second. Right now, we're still in a regular Minecraft world, full of blocks everywhere and a lot of visual complexity. And all of that is clearly holding my FPS back. So I had to get rid of it. I switched over to a super flat world, and just like that, my FPS jumped up to 785. Then I realized there was still one very effective trick I hadn't used yet: GPU overclocking. I pushed both the GPU core and memory clock up by 100 MHz, and the highest number I managed to record was 894 frames per second, while staring straight up at the sky. Of course, I tried to push it even further, and that's when the system said, nope. Everything froze, I couldn't move at all, and yeah, I had no choice but to restart the PC. It turns out, I still wasn't ready to give up. At that point, it was pretty clear that Windows still wasn't fully optimized, at least not for what I was trying to do here. So I decided to switch things up and try a different operating system. That's when I moved to Linux, specifically Bazite, and honestly, that's where things finally clicked. The highest number I managed to hit was 986 frames per second, just a little over 10 frames short of the 1000 frames per second goal. Unfortunately, by that point, it was already time to upload the video, so I didn't have any more time to keep optimizing, so let's just say this. I'll count it as a challenge completed. I took a game that was struggling at just a few dozen frames per second and pushed it all the way to nearly 1000 frames per second. For me, that's honestly a personal record. I also tested a few more games to see whether this 13-year-old system can actually handle modern titles. First up is Counter-Strike 2, running at 1080p with low settings. And as you can see, our quad-core CPU is really starting to struggle, just trying to keep the frame rate stable. FPS can spike close to 60, but the frame drops happen very often, which makes the experience far from ideal. Honestly, this is not something I would recommend playing like this. Moving on to Tomb Raider, this time the GPU is doing most of the work. Performance sits around 100 frames per second, and unlike CS2, the frame pacing here is much more stable. Overall, this one actually feels smooth and enjoyable. And finally, The Witcher 3. Here, the GPU is truly being pushed to its limits, delivering around 50 frames per second. What really surprised me, though, is the temperature. The GPU stayed at around 69 degrees Celsius, which is honestly a very healthy temperature for a GPU this old. All things considered, that's a pretty impressive result. So yeah, I just finished upgrading a pretty weak-old AMD PC and somehow turned it into a system that can push nearly 1000 frames per second in Minecraft. On top of that, it can still handle some graphics-heavy games surprisingly well, even though it does struggle a bit in CPU-heavy FPS titles. All things considered, I think this was a really fun and interesting experiment. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this build and this challenge? Would you try something like this yourself? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.